Hello, guys, and welcome back to the second episode of Solomonarii Unscripted. I apologize because I haven't uploaded a second one the next week, like I promised. But I was traveling and I forgot that I will travel when I made that video, and I didn't have time to make the video, schedule it, and then upload it. And afterwards, when I came back, I wanted to focus more on the main videos to finish episode 7, which I did. It's been posted on the channel in the playlist. You can find it. Also, is the latest video upload. Solomonarii episode 7, The Watchers of the Forest. Hope you enjoyed it. If you had the time to watch it, if not, go watch it and come back then to this video. And because maybe we can down the line we can discuss a bit about the video. So yeah, now we're gonna continue where we left off. So it's still page 3. I did nothing. I did nothing, just updated a bit here. I mean, you cannot see, but I've updated a bit the structure side of the layers for each panel. But for now, we're gonna focus on this panel right here. And if you don't remember what's the story about, you can check out the previous video. I'm gonna leave, I think, a link here in the video in the top corner or something. It's gonna show up a link. You can go and check out the first video from this series. This is gonna be a separate playlist with Solomonarii Unscripted, with this type of content, a longer type of content. So yeah, we're gonna focus on this, like I promised last time. Hopefully, I'm gonna be able to draw more than talk, because that's the purpose, to see the actual process. I want to see if I can find a balance between. If I'm not gonna be able to, I'm gonna have to do a real-time drawing separate, where I focus on a session of like 40 minutes, and afterwards I have to do a voiceover and just speak directly, and that way I will be sure that at least 40 minutes of actual drawing. So yeah, I mean, that's double the work, I mean, but hopefully we can do, because I am a bit worried that once I start drawing I'm gonna stop talking. And because it's not a live stream and I cannot interact with you directly, so there's not comments or anything that I can respond to, it's basically you're just gonna listen to the music and see me draw, which, yeah, that's not bad. So it's a win-win, I guess, but hopefully I can do a balance. So anyhow, let's start with panel 1. So basically from the last page, this character heard something coming from the forest, a noise, and this is the third page, first panel, where we see where the sound came from, and it's from a foot that stepped on a branch. So basically here I was thinking, I want to change a bit the angle of this foot. This is a direct view from the behind, but I'm gonna turn it a bit on an angle, so we can see clearly more the silhouette, and I think it's gonna be a bit interesting than what we have now. So let's see here. Brush, yeah, it's good. It's a good brush. So let's see how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna change it. Like I said, change the angle of it. So I'm just gonna concentrate a bit in drawing the actual overall form of the foot. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, something like this. Doesn't look the best now, but easy each line. Slowly we're gonna make it look good, because yeah, one thing I've learned these past months while really diving into developing my art skills, especially my anatomy, is that you can't rush, even though, so yeah, that's different, as you can see, but you can't rush it. I mean, even if you want, you can't. I mean, everyone learns in different speeds and manners, but I think this was one of the things that kept me not progressing as fast as I've wanted, is the fact that I wanted to learn fast. I just wanted to skip all this nonsense of me learning and just doing directly cool art, cool images that I was thinking about. But yeah, that's not the case. Also, because I haven't had any real art education. Everything I know is basically self-taught. I've skipped on all that homework and all that pain that each art student goes through in art school and university. So I don't have that background, so I had to manage and discipline myself in doing the work, you know. And it's quite different from graphic design. or motion design or any other design. It's different. It's using a different part of your brain. And if that muscle hasn't been trained, it doesn't matter. It's not, you're not gonna be able to draw incredible art overnight. So if you're thinking of starting this journey yourself, picking up art and start drawing whatever you want, I encourage you to have patience with yourself if you really want it. Also, you have to get ready to be alone a lot of the time, because you need to actually draw. So some people I know that they can draw in public places, at a coffee shop or things like that, but I think that's when you already mastered the fundamentals, or you're far from a beginner point of view. You have some years in drawing, and then you can do that. But if you're at the beginning, you don't have a chance doing that, because everyone's gonna distract you. Any person that goes by will distract you from learning, because you have to learn to do the thing. It's not automatic yet. So and the best thing is to put it on the paper. Try to not rush this step. Try to make the fundamental look as best as you can, as correct as you can. This is one more thing I've learned this couple of months. If the fundamental structure is good, then everything you put on will look better. But if the fundamental is lacking, the whole composition, the whole drawing will not sustain, no matter how much render you're gonna do afterwards. So yeah. So as you can see here, I'm adjusting and adjusting. Hopefully in the future, when myself will be able to draw automatically, I will be able to do live streams where maybe I can help other people in their art process if they're just starting out. I know it's hard, and not everyone has the patience to stay. They only show you like a quick process and they're done, and you're like, oh my god, that's incredible. Yeah. So let's see here. This is the back of the foot. Something like that. Trying to do here to understand a bit the volume and the angle. That's why I'm drawing these lines here. Afterwards I'm gonna erase it and polish it when the sketch, final sketch is done. And afterwards I move to color. And even the color, yeah, I was thinking that maybe I'm gonna have to redo the previous two, because I'm really digging this type of more of a monochrome, gray, dark brownish type of aesthetic. I think it's good for this genre. It's better than to be colorful entirely. So for a psychological horror, I think it's better, this palette. Okay. And yeah. Okay, let's see. This toe here. Fix this bit. Okay. Let's see here. This should be a bit flatter. Okay. Yeah, it's a tedious thing, and it's a slow process. And I haven't, to be honest, I haven't drawn hundreds of feet yet, so I don't have a library in my head, so it's a bit slow. A bit slow. But satisfying nonetheless when you see that from each drawing you do, you improve little by little. That's cool. And your hand is starting to understand what you're trying to draw, and it stops fighting you back. That's when I think you really start enjoying what you're doing, what you're drawing. Okay. I think here just to be a bit on an angle. Here. Okay. It needs to be fixed here. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so I think it's good. It looks good. Let's try to also draw the branches which she steps on. One more thing before I think here. Let's try this a bit, modify it a bit, make it just a bit more bulky here. Straight here. Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna adjust till it makes sense that it's a foot. And we're gonna keep adjusting and adjusting and adjusting. If you also like drawing, maybe you can draw something while I'm drawing, so you can have like a chill video. You can use it on the background and actually draw something that you like. Maybe it motivates you to do it. Or if you have a project that you have been putting aside for any reason, maybe you can start working on that. I recommend to have a project, personal project, doesn't matter what, besides your day job, if you have a day job, you know. It's good to have a project on the side and not be totally invested in your day job, because that those come and go, those projects come and go. If you're in the design field, even worse, because all that creative juices you give in exchange for money at a job, day job, that remain there. I mean, and those projects it's not, those are not like soul projects, and so it will not feed your soul. But if you have some personal projects, it doesn't need to be drawing, you can do the sculpting or knitting or I don't know, and building things, or creating a game, maybe a game or development. That's cool. And if you're trying to make a game and you need an artist, you can send me an email. I will gladly join your project. I haven't worked on games, but I really want to. Maybe if you're doing a small indie game, I can help you with the artwork. We can make a game together. That would be cool. Maybe this project at some point in its life cycle is gonna become a game. Who knows? Maybe in the years that will follow. That would be great. Okay. So let's see. Let's do the branches. Let's try and make the branches happen here. Even drawing organic things like trees, branches, stones, you name it, things from nature. I was thinking at first that can't be that difficult because it's an organic shape, so you can cheat, let's say, a lot, even if you don't know the actual structure of it. But that also was a lie, because if you really want to look as close to the real thing, you still need a reference to draw from actual branches, from nature. And if you don't see so many branches, then you don't know how to draw one. Or trees or mountains. And yeah, with this project there's a lot of that. There's a lot of things I never drawn before that I need to draw and learn how to draw for this project. Which, don't get me wrong, it's nice, but it's also frustrating too. Learning constantly to draw new things. Sometimes just you wanna skip that and draw whatever you want, whatever you think, but nah. But it helps a lot. I mean, it helps a lot to work on projects like this. It really gives you a lot of XP. So yeah, How about you? What do you like to draw? What's your favorite thing to draw if you draw? Is it portraits or character design or environment design? Things like that. My favorite thing is character design, but also I'm starting to enjoy other things. But yeah, my dream is to draw any person from any type, body type, any angle, any perspective, from any perspective. That will be great if I accomplish. Like if I want to draw any fan art, maybe I can do without any problem. Very dynamic pose if I want. Yeah. But that's also a different type of thing. I'm working on that as well. And I was thinking about also making different type of videos on my channel, because my channel is not dedicated only to this graphic novel. This is the main project I'm working on now, but I will also do other videos regarding art and things I like to draw besides this graphic novel. So I was thinking also at some point in making like videos for fan art. I was thinking to do at some point. Because I want the channel to grow, and I know it's hard in this day and age to make content like this, because a lot of people don't have the attention span like in the past, and if it's not very heavy edited, very spontaneous, full of colors, full of cuts, they get bored easily and basically they leave. So I know this type of content is not for everyone, and I know it's the journey is long to create a community that follows you for what you're doing and not for existing things. Because I also follow channels similar to mine, and I see a lot of them having a tough time growing their audience. I mean, even if you make consistently videos, the growth is quite slow. And if you don't have an existing fan base on a different social media platform, maybe like on Instagram or TikTok or ArtStation or things like that, so they can migrate from those social media to your new platform where you do content. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to grow these days. But from what I've seen, consistency is key. From what I've seen at other artists, because I'm still struggling with that. With this process of doing this constantly. Editing videos, preparing videos, there's also like this fear of talking like I do now. Just sit down and talking. Once I start the video, it's smooth, but going to that, getting to that, it sometimes is quite difficult. It's intimidating because I'm not used to it that much. But every time I do it, afterwards I really feel much better, because I really like this. I really like making videos. I really like speaking about things, different types of things. So yeah, I'm learning. What can I say? Hopefully with each video I upload, it will be much easier to create this type of content. Okay. Let's see here, maybe I'm gonna enlarge this branch, maybe. It goes like this. Off screen. No, it's too big. Maybe just like this. Something like that. I mean, basically, it's a pile of broken branches on the earth where she's stepping. I think this is quite common, like in the forest. A lot of branches accumulated in one area, blown by the wind, or maybe just basically. If it's on I don't know how it's called in English, like a path where people usually go, and basically that path usually is more cleaner than more random ways through the forest. Yeah, also, I mentioned that I want to minimize the color palette so I can make it more atmospheric than it was in the first 2 pages. But I'm gonna change those later. I'm gonna focus on creating these new pages. But also I think that will improve the speed. I mean, I wish I can finish all the 50 pages this year. That would be great. So I can as fast as possible I can put chapter 1 on Webtoon. Okay. Let's see. I think that looks good. Yeah. Also, I am thinking of starting going back to conventions, comic book conventions. I went in the past to a couple of conventions here in Romania at the East European Comic Con back in the day, and I was thinking to start going again, even starting going to other conventions outside Romania in Europe and promote in the artist alley, besides fan art and things like that, to promote the comic books. So it's gonna be in the best interest for me to actually have something I can show, not only the videos, but actual physical version of the chapter 1, so I can start a conversation with people. Because again, I think in real life you can gather more people than online these days, because online is quite difficult. If you don't have a following, it's quite difficult to build an audience that supports your projects. And if you're not like fantastic or incredible, again, it's very hard for the algorithm to push you if you're not posting constantly. And I mean, for me, art is not a product that needs to be output daily, because I just can't. My inspiration and my viewpoint is different, and because I want to do this actually with my hands, drawing it, not creating it like a lot of people do these days with AI. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes a lot of emotions that you need to process through the art. And if you don't have the willpower to do that, then the output can be slow. Okay, so maybe let's try also some lines here. This to emphasize. Maybe like that. For now. I'll come back to that. Then also I'm gonna have to add the crack sound effect text with the C, not the K, like I did in the sketch. Okay, so have this. Let's go back a bit to the branches. Let's add some more details here. Small details. Also, another aspect that I need to constantly remind myself is that I have to stop and think that everything needs to be perfect, and afterwards I publish or I create a video. I have to understand that things evolve, even my art process will evolve, and if I wait for the perfect version, I will not publish anything, not create any final page or character. So yeah. But to be honest, I mean, this project started seriously this year, but the incubation period was last year, and last year in February, when I started to put down ideas for this comic book, I didn't imagine that a year later that I would already have like videos on YouTube about this, and actually draw the way I draw now, because my level wasn't at this level back then, because I didn't have the time to improve my drawing skills, and that's always like in the back of my head that I need to improve it, and afterwards I'm gonna be able to create my projects, my dream projects, let's say. Yeah, but that's also that's a trap. I mean, but I have to manage and fight with those thoughts every day. But it's getting easier and easier. Okay. So let's see what else should we do. Maybe, yeah, let's add some shading here. Near the base. Also, for me personally, the art is very attached to my mental health, let's say. So if I'm in a state of processing complicated emotions, it's quite hard for me to focus on drawing, and that's also a skill, and learning to basically transmute that energy into art, which I'm also actively learning to do that. So I'm able to process those emotions through art. That's an art skill in itself. Okay, let's not do that on that layer. I have a different layer for that. See from afar. Yeah, that's okay, that's good. Okay. So if we manage to finish a panel per video, I think that's good. It's good only if I will be consistent in making these videos, because if not, it's gonna take a long time to finish and I'm not gonna be able to finish this year. That's a bummer. So let's see. I mean, we're just getting started. Also, hope you guys enjoyed if you watched episode 7, the Watchers of the Forest, with basically they are librarians inside Babariu. They're also like spies. They gather information. It's what was quite fun doing that. Those design, but the approach there was like, because they are part from Vidma Paduri clan, they can look like anyone. So in that case, in the episode 7, the design I've shown there is basically like the form they will took when going into the battlefield. So basically they will shapeshift into a Solomonar that is on the field and is fighting for some reason, has a mission or something like that. So they blend in like that. But if you remember in the last episode, in episode 6, one of the members from Oburshia was also from Vidma Paduri, and that member looked totally different, more like a tree entity, and that also is, they're not their true form. Yeah, and the next episode I'm gonna do episode 8. It's gonna be regarding the Vidma Paduri clan, and there we're gonna go a bit deeper on how they shift their appearance, how they morph, and more about their clans, because there's gonna be 10 episodes. I think that was what I've said also the last Solomonarii Unscripted, that the main episode season won't continue till episode 10, and then I'm gonna stop and focus only on these ones, and maybe do something in between seasons if I focus on a different aspect, because I was thinking of creating also a horoscope, like an astrology system, let's say, in Solomonarii, and maybe I can do that at a separate video only on that, but that's gonna be outside the season. So once we reach season 10, we take a break from those, we focus on other videos, so the story can move on for everyone. And afterwards, in season 2, I will focus more on also chapter 2. But yeah, and basically the last 3 episodes will be the 3 clans, the main 3 clans. So Vidma Paduri is episode 8, episode 9 will be Prikolic, and episode 10 will end with the Strigoi clan. So a full circle. And we're gonna stop. And can focus on these types of videos more. But yeah, I mean, also the delay was because for these episodes, these types of content, is because I'm also developing each day my anatomy skills, so I can move eventually much faster in drawing this the way I want, the angles I want, so I can tell the story I imagine while writing it. So once I've built up the necessary library, I can move much faster, and this type of videos can be made faster because I draw the actual panels faster. Also hopefully remain consistent in the art style. That's also a must. Okay. Let's see here just a bit. Okay, let's render a bit here. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this type of drawing process, and if you're still watching, I do appreciate it. If you're still here, I think like we reached already 50 minutes, I think. If you have any questions regarding the comic book or anything about drawing or things like that, you can leave them in the comments, and I will gladly reply or answer them in the next video. Or if you want me to talk about something specific from the Solomonarii world, you can ask me in the comments. You can also follow me on Instagram if you want. There I post more Solomonarii content, more information about the lore, separate from the videos. Yeah. So let's see here. To add here this line. Forgot about this line. Okay. Yeah, it's very tedious. I mean, obviously I can adjust till I get it right, but also I need to understand that if I do that, I'm gonna waste a lot of time on each panel, and that's not gonna get me anywhere near to finish in a good time. So yeah, I need to understand that I will improve with each panel as I draw, and maybe the next ones will move faster to what I imagined to looking like. Yeah, also maybe some branches from the background can enter the panel, or maybe one I extend this one, it comes somewhere around there. But yeah, those I'm gonna do, I think, at the end, once I've finished all the panels. That's just some details, and once I also add the text effect, I think it's gonna be here or here, but I think, I don't know, here or here. The noise comes from here, but yeah. So maybe I put here crack, and I extend this branch here. Yeah, and afterwards we move this panel and then this panel, but we're gonna do this in the next episode. So thank you for joining in, thank you for having patience. If you're still here, I appreciate it. You can leave a like, a comment, that helps enormously the channel, and this videos can reach other people who enjoy this type of content, who enjoy world building, enjoy storytelling through sequential art and art related things. So if you're a human and if you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to subscribe, and I'm gonna see you hopefully next week. So have a great night or afternoon or morning, and yeah.